And we've got Chris here with our weather. So we're going to start with that. I know there's a lot of news going on, but I want to start with something I am nervous about.
We want to start with you.
Which is how cold it's going to get, Chris.
All right, well, how cold is too cold?
Cold. I mean,
bad.
below freezing is cold. Yeah.
So bad news.
Well, the coldest that we've been so far this season is 28 degrees twice.
Ew.
The coldest that we've been so far this year is 18 degrees. That was back in January.
Boo.
The low I have for Monday is 17 degrees. So, yeah, I know it's boo-worthy. I understand. Because think about that. And we also haven't been in the teens during the month of December since 2022. So it really just shows that this is an early cool down. Actually, 2022, I'm not sure if you remember this. I remember temperatures probably more than the most common person.
That makes sense.
We dropped down to the single digits. I believe it was the day before Christmas. And then we had back-to-back mornings that were either in the single digits or the teens. So luckily, we're not there. This is going to be a brief cool down. I'm your Statmansky. This is a random one. Sometimes we are splitting hairs here because nobody really measures the first 11 days of December, but I do. So through 11 days of December, we have officially checked those in the weather history books. We've averaged 40 degrees from our highs and lows. That officially is the 21st coldest first 11 days of December. And our high temperatures actually average more in the top 15 because it has been cold. We went 12 days in a row that it was 50 degrees or colder to end the month of November and begin for the first week plus of December. As far as our school closures, we don't have any closures. We only have some delays for the North Carolina high country because some snow that moved in last night, some black ice, and then also we have some additional snow that's moving through right now. Bannerell, dark. That means the camera's not working, so we will move on. It's this era primarily that we're going to stay north of as far as the snow is concerned, and we are cold enough that it would be snow. It does not need to be freezing at the surface for us to have snow. Sometimes you can have a strong enough snow above our heads that it can be actually as warm as 40 degrees for snow to actually come down. Doesn't mean that it's going to accumulate, but you could actually see some snow. So the areas that I think that are a concern for even just seeing snow, maybe quickly reducing visibilities, is north of that line, primarily in Alexander County, right here around Iredell County in the I-40 corridor, and then even over in Rowan County, so China Grove, Salisbury, naming a few, you're going to see that potential for some of that snow pushing through. Over the last several hours, we've been slowly seeing this band push in, and now it's going to start to push out. So by about 10 to 11 o'clock, we are going to be snow-free, and here I'll prove it to you. Our futurecast was showing that slight chance for everything, and then by the afternoon, sunshine is even going to come out evolving. I did this yesterday. Today is December 12th, but of course there's always some sort of national day. Sometimes there's a dozen plus national days per given one. Today, the one that really stands out is National Gingerbread House Day. Anybody a good gingerbread houser?
Carlene hates gingerbread.
I have a controversial yet brave opinion. I think gingerbread is not good.
It's okay. That's
okay, good. Okay, great. So we're all on the same page. It's fine.
Like, I'll do it. I'll have it.
I also say during Thanksgiving and this time of year that pie is overrated. So I don't. It doesn't matter.
Depends on the pie. But yeah,
it's true. I've had a good pie. It's just that people, I never have gone nuts for pie.
Same.
I feel like I settle for pie, and I feel it's the same thing
like
for gingerbread.
Peach cobbler,
yeah,
that's your girl Carlene. But pie, not my thing.
And the problem with gingerbread, and this is why I agree with you, because I have had when somebody is freshly baked gingerbread out of the oven, it's great. But the problem is it just starts getting really hard, like a Triscuit.
Tough.
Yeah.
It is the construction material of baked goods.
Yeah.
So.
It's great for construction. If you want, crafting.
Yeah, that's a
perfect.
very good point. So I guess, if you're building exterior walls out of a cookie, it might not be the best. Yeah. But I have to give it to it because we did a story not too long ago about some of the professional gingerbread houses around town, and some of them are extraordinary.
Stunning.
I know.
Gorgeous.
I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But
I'm like,
once it's
hats off
built,
to you,
I
but
don't
do I
eat
want to
it.
eat it?
No.
Have you ever seen that show, Is It Cake?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That's the
Brilliant.
best.
Brilliant show.
All right, I totally got us off the rails. Okay, but there's also National Poinsettia Day. I've also heard poinsettia. I don't know how to say it anymore.
I think it's poinsettia.
I think poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Like a majority of the population says poinsettia, right?
Right.
That's what I think so. And it's also National Salesperson Day. So cheers to Upstairs here at WCNC. And then also other people, like my friend Mike Clemens. Happy National Salesperson Day.
Shout out Mike.
Shout out to sales.
Woo!
You don't have an easy job.
Yeah. No, well, hey, you know, that is
Don't
high.
stop.
That is
I do.
high stress.
Calling
Like,
people who do not want to be called.
I can't even
bless
sell something for free. So, like, yeah, good for them. 50 degrees is going to be our high today. 51 was our high yesterday. We will have sunshine for the afternoon, but now we transition to the weekend. Listen up. Saturday is the day. Sunday,
medal.
yeah. Look at
Medal worthy.
We're about to be at the Olympics time. This was gold medal worthy. And
Saturday won
yeah.
already.
I've already said all week that this is going to be the pick of the week. We've been calling for 60 degrees since Tuesday.
Wow.
And it's also wall-to-wall sunshine. You don't even have a cloud in the sky. It's great. The winds aren't overly harsh. But then we transition to Sunday that got an arrow that's pointing down. So here's how Sunday is going to work. By midnight, so talking about minute 1 of Sunday, that's your high temperature. Temperatures will
No.
continue to cool down. We level out in the 40s, and then by the evening, we could have wind chills as cold as 20 degrees, and we could even have it as cold as the single digits about how we actually feel by the late evening. Thoughts, concerns?
Thank you for asking, because
Boo.
yes, I do have thoughts and concerns. We've talked a couple times. Every time it gets a little cold in here, and I'm talking to Chris, I always go, remember when I was in Michigan? So I would work the morning show, and the worst part would be standing out there at 4 a.m. and the sun wouldn't come out till later, obviously, and it actually gets colder and colder because it's longer without the sun. And so that's what this is reminding me of. I'm getting flashbacks. I will be inside on
And
Sunday.
often, because I also worked in Michigan, they had Alberta Clipper systems, so those are almost mini cold fronts. So that's the main reason why you were cooling down, is because you see a division of the warm to the colder air, and that's what we have for this day, and that's the
But
problem.
we're not there. We're in Carolina. Why are we so cold?
Why are we so cold? Because of the polar vortex. That is a ribbon of air that moves around the poles that sometimes, picture a top that's spinning really fast.
Okay.
And if you tap it, it will start to wobble. So what we're dealing with is a wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. And that allows for that little ribbon of air to move down, and it's only a brief one, and that's the reason why we're going to see it. So I think
Wow.
the way things are looking at is you're going to constantly see these little pulses. But the good news is when you're not having the wobble going into you, you're going to have the warmer air. Now, the Sunday problem is the wind gusts to about 30 miles per hour. And I'll break this down for you. Here are our wind chills. So I'll actually show you. This is 8 a.m. At 8 a.m., we could have wind chills as cold as 10 degrees in Boone, 36 right here around the Charlotte area. Now, the one silver lining is we should have a majority sunshine most of the day. It's just going to be cold and blustery. By about 2 o'clock, you're having freezing wind chills. 0 up in Jefferson and Ashe County, negatives in Boone. We roll tape. If you have any Sunday evening plans, like for instance, the celebration of lights in Kannapolis is one of my favorite things. But it's miserable when you go when it's really cold. I've gone when it's warm. I've gone when it's cold. When it is cold, you are just huddling around the little fire they give you, or maybe seeing multiple shows of the bears inside because it is so cold. So say if you're going on Sunday and the hours are 6 to 9, it's not going to feel pleasant because you're in an open field. It's when you're huddled around a building, you don't get the direct wind. The more open you are, the more wind you're going to get. So it feels like negative 10 at that point at 6 p.m., feeling like either side of 20 degrees by the early evening hours. But I think the coldest part that we're going to have is leading up to midnight, the second midnight, and that's where we're going to have our low temperature, feeling as cold as 10 degrees to even the single digits and 15 below around the Boone area. Now, the reason why it gets a little bit better is not because it's getting warmer, it's because the winds are less harsh. The temperature is still going to drop down to about 17 degrees, but at least it's not going to be as wind chilly. So here's another way to look at it, pretty much what I just showed you. The afternoon, which by the way, the National Weather Service actually has definitions for time periods. Morning is categorized as 6 to noon. Afternoon is noon to 6. And then 6 to midnight is the evening hours. By the evening, our actual air temperature will be 30, falling to 20, feeling like 20 to 10 degrees. That's going to be the coldest part, but the actual coldest air temperature is Monday morning. At that point, you're talking about the teens, feeling a little bit cooler. So it's just really at this point, the reason why we're going weather impact alert is just letting you know It's going to be cold. It's going to be the coldest that we've had. 17 degrees is what we have for a low. I had 16, so it's come up 1 degree, so huzzah. 18 degrees, it was the coldest we've been in 2025. That was back on January 22nd, and we've had 2 other days at 19. Regardless, we're smashing the coldest we've been so far this season, and this will be the 4th time that we're in the teens this year. Another note that I always like to mention, especially if you have an older home, if you are in an insulated apartment, don't worry about this, but it's the ones that have more of an open crawl space, not as much insulated pipes. You need to drip on Sunday night, because whenever temperatures are down, especially below 20 degrees, it's actually below 28 for 4 hours, you need to drip those faucets to get some movement going, because the stagnant water is going to have a better chance to freeze over. So it's especially on Sunday night to Monday and Monday night to Tuesday that you need to do this. And the other criteria that I have associated with that is, let me bring up this other graphic, sorry, is really when temperatures are below 20 degrees, insulated pipes can freeze within 6 hours. We are for sure going to have that, especially heading into Monday. So whenever you're using the superlative again, the coldest, that's where it's going to catch our attention a little bit more than it otherwise would. For the 10-day forecast, we'll start with the 7. We are only cooling down momentarily. We have the changing Sunday, the bottom on Monday morning, only reaching 38 degrees, which, by the way, was closer to our low this morning, to put it in perspective, and yesterday morning. And then we're gradually stair-stepping back to about 60 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, this is the opposite of what a lot of people want. If they want it to be cold, Christmas is okay, because you can roast chestnuts and stay warm inside. But that... Yeah, but once we get closer to Christmas, we have a chance at actually the 60s again, because the first day of winter, by the way, is December 21st. That's when the Panthers are back in town, where they have a legitimate chance of clinching the playoffs for the first time since I don't remember when. And then we're going to stay in the 50s to 60s, really leading up to Christmas, where things are trending to be above normal. But the areas of red really stand out from all the rest. Luckily, this is kind of a quick little drop before we have a nice little recovery back to the normal and even above.